Welcome everybody to the very first video in an occasional series of videos that I'm going to do from time to time on this channel, talking about some of the lesser known stories from some of the more famous people and events in history. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite people in all of history, and that's Abraham Lincoln. He's somebody that folks know a lot about, but you might not know this. So let's talk about Abraham Lincoln a little bit. Born near Hodgenville, Kentucky on February 12, 1809, Abraham Lincoln was named after his grandfather, who was Captain Abraham Lincoln, who had been killed fighting Indians back in 1786. Lincoln grew up in difficult times. We know some of that story. He experienced a lot of loss in his early years. His mother died when he was only 9 years old, and his sister died in childbirth when he was just 18. His first love, Anne Rutledge, died of typhoid fever when he was in his 20s. Lincoln spent only about 12 months in any kind of formal schooling. Most of what he learned, he taught himself. As a young man, he was often called lazy for his, quote, reading, scribbling, writing, ciphering, poetry, etc. His stepmother said that Abraham did not enjoy physical labor, but instead loved to read. He was a lawyer, a soldier, a state legislator, a U.S. congressman, and twice elected president of the United States. The stories of his successes and his failures are very well known. What is not as well known is Abraham Lincoln's love of wrestling. Standing at 6 feet 4 inches tall, with long arms perfect for grappling his opponents, Abraham Lincoln began wrestling in his teens and continued on into his 20s. With only one loss in over 300 recorded matches, Lincoln had a reputation among the New Salem, Illinois locals as an elite fighter, eventually earning his county's wrestling championship. Knowing how good he was, Lincoln was actually known to trash talk with the best of them. After one victory, he reportedly looked at the crowd and said, "I'm the big buck of this lick. If any of you want to try it, come on and wet your horns." No one did. Lincoln's most memorable contest came against Jack Armstrong, who was a member of a local group of ruffians, a gang known as the Clary's Grove Boys. When Armstrong heard Lincoln's boss bragging about his wrestling prowess, he challenged the future president to a match. A crowd gathered. Money, liquor, and other possessions were wagered. The match began, and it became clear almost immediately that Lincoln would win. Some versions of the story claim that Lincoln challenged every member of Armstrong's gang to an individual fight after they attempted to interfere in the match. Armstrong, finally admitting defeat, reportedly called off his friends and afterward became a lifelong friend to Abraham Lincoln. Biographer William Stoddard wrote of the match, "The episode was full of important consequences to Abraham Lincoln. His courage and prowess had been thoroughly tested, and he made a deep impression on the minds of his rough neighbors. He was in no danger of further challenges from any of them, and Jack Armstrong avowed himself the fast friend of the man who had given him so good a shaking." To this day, historians have found only one instance when Lincoln was defeated during a match. It happened during the Black Hawk War of 1832, when a man named Hank Thompson defeated Lincoln during a bout for the regimental championship. Lincoln's reputation as a wrestler was rewarded in 1992 when he was inducted into the Outstanding American Wing of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. There, he's joined by 3 other presidents, George Washington, Teddy Roosevelt, and William Howard Taft. And now you know something maybe you didn't before about Abraham Lincoln, member of the Wrestling Hall of Fame. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you've got ideas for other unique content that I can create like this, let me know in the comment section below.